Wednesday, December 18th at 7:30 p.m.
Councilwoman Selby,
Present.
Councilman Cardicchini,
Present.
Supervisor Keating,
Present.
Councilwoman Lukacek,
Present.
Councilwoman Murrow.
Not present.
Thank you. And Councilwoman Lukacek, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, this evening we do not have any other preliminary matters, so we'll move right on to our regular business, item number 2. And first item under regular business is the correction and adoption of the minutes from the December 4th, 2024 meeting. And Councilwoman Selby, would you like to take that item tonight?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. After a review of the minutes from December 4th, I do not see any omissions or edits, and I'd like to make a motion to approve those minutes.
I will
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes?
Councilman Cardicchini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, item number 2 under our regular business is the consideration of all the fund bills. And Councilman Cardini, would you like to take that item?
Thank you, Supervisor Keating. I've reviewed the abstract, and I make a motion that we pay the bills in the amount of $23,059.83.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes?
Councilman Cardicchini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, item number 3 is our correspondence. We have 16 items of correspondence, been a little busy here. All these are on file in the town clerk's office and part of the board packet tonight, and they are as follows. Item number 1 is the town clerk's report for November of 2024. Item 2 is the dog control officer report for November, dog control officer report for November of 2024. Item 3 is the code enforcement officer report for November of 2024. Item number 4 is the Justice Court audit request for 2024. Item number 5 is the January to October 2024 dispatch summaries from Hamburg Dispatch. Item 6 is the income statement dated November 2024. Item number 7 are the town's cash balances for November 2024. Item number 8 is the Erie County Affordable Housing Census data. Item number 9 is a press release dated December 5th, 2024 from NYSEG and RG&E to deploy diverse technologies to reduce outages. These are some updates that have been going on that we've been talking about here. Item 10 is a press release dated December 10th of 2024 from NYSEG and RG&E to announce a new transfer of service process. Item number 11 is from the letter from the Erie County Water Authority to extract of minutes and tariff from November 1st, 2024. Number 12 is a letter from Senator Patrick Gallivan. Item 13 is a letter from Dottie Gallagher from the Buffalo Niagara Partnership. Item number 14 is a local state of emergency declaration from Supervisor Keating. Item number 15 is a local emergency order, which is number 2024-01 from Supervisor Keating. And that was for, just to explain those in case anybody has any questions, a town needs to declare a local state of emergency in order to impose a travel ban, and that was for last week's weather event. That's what those were for. And then 16 is the rescinding of the declaration of a local state of emergency. Again, all those items are, there's one more. Item 17 is the Erie County Guidance on Essential Travel. That also is something that was part of that information I sent to the town clerk's office. Again, all those are on file in the town clerk's office and part of the town board packet. Moving on to new business, the first item is our request from the floor. If anyone would like to come up and speak at the microphone, please come up to the microphone, state your name, address, and you have 3 minutes each. The floor is now open. Deputy,
Yeah, sure.
I see your notes ready to go.
I'll give you what I have. Obviously, last meeting I gave you the report for November. From December 1st till now, I've logged 17 complaints myself. Some of them are self-initiated. Others are complaints from town employees, fire departments, etc. I also want to push out, we have a new program. It's called Handle with Care Registry. The sheriff went to all the news channels and kind of trying to get it out here to the public. It's for individuals with disabilities, autism, dementia, could be a narcotics history. We'll get some primary information on a first point of contact, and some triggers, and some things that help calm that person down. So if we deal with these people direct, we have a little advantage, and we'll get that out to first responders as well, once we get the database built. We just got it approved, it just got up and running a day or two ago. I sent an email of the link to the supervisor, just try to get it out to the public, social media, whatever type of platforms will help, we'd appreciate it.
Yep.
I was a part of Boston's fire parade for the fire department. I told Patchen I would do the same if they wish. We also had some snow removal complaints that I put them in as, they're pushing across the street. Kind of was spreading the word on that, that it's a violation of law. There were tons of accidents we handled, state of emergency along with that. Thank you for offering a warming shelter. We needed one. We did have one up in Alma that we had to open. We had 30 people at one point. It shut down a bunch of roads. So I appreciate the help, and that's all. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, on that note from the deputy, I will say that for the warming shelter, while sadly our generator is not up and running yet, but I will give a shout out to the North Boston Fire Companies. When the deputy and I had spoken during the weather event, contacted our friends over at the North Boston Fire Hall, because they had been used as a shelter before. So definitely thanks to North Boston Fire Company for offering up their facility. So. Anyone else? Okay. There's no other comments. Rich?
Going over this, my name is Richard Hawkins, 6892 Pembroke Drive in Boston. Under the correspondence that you just went down through with the local laws and stuff, and the emergency declaration,
Yes.
does that come completely just from the supervisor that makes that decision, whether the roads are shut down or how long the band is going on or something? Or is that corresponding with highway, or just who makes those final? I understand you being the supervisor would be involved greatly in that, but would the highway guy know what's going up on the hills and what roads need to be shut down, or just whatever?
No, all good and valid questions. So, a local state of emergency, when those were all imposed, so we used the most recent one that happened here. To answer your question, so local leaders get on calls with the county executive and supervisors or mayors all across Erie County.
Okay.
There's traditionally calls that are at 7 a.m., 7 p.m., and then we have, depending on the event, this past one, we had National Weather Service, we had supervisors, mayors, the county executive, we had emergency managers, some emergency managers, not all, admittedly, but sometimes in the stead of a supervisor, the emergency managers will jump on those calls. And then based off the information that we're provided at that time, we make a decision, because we're also working with our partners with the schools, because of course when you push out a travel ban, guess what, your school buses aren't rolling, right? So on that call, one of the things that we talked about was the schools. So at the time, our local state of emergency was declared at 10:30 in the morning, because up until that point, our roads were not bad. We were not experiencing snowfall rates of 3, 4, and in some areas 6 inches per hour. So the decision was made shortly after that call that at the time, if I remember this correctly, the first towns that were declaring the state of emergency earlier in the day was Hamburg and Orchard Park. And then because as that band started to drift south a little bit, then we implemented, and as the deputy stated, we had cars off the road, we had a water main break down on Boston State Road, and, thank you, Rich, you contacted me, I think it was 7:15 in the morning, telling me water was pooling on Boston State Road. These things happen, right? And so anyway, you take all that information cumulatively, and that, it's not a definitive, but what happens, yes, the supervisor or mayor is the person that declares that local state of emergency under New York State Law, Article 2B. Once that is enacted, then the supervisor or mayor has the ability to then declare that driving ban. A travel advisory the county can do, and yes, the county can also, whoever that county executive is, they also have the authority and ability to declare a travel ban countywide if they so choose. But it does help with the local municipalities declaring their own local states of emergency and or driving bans, because our men and women who are out and rescuing these folks, you're part of that, Rich. It helps them, keeps people off the roads, but also if it's a big enough event and there's a cost associated with this, that the state of emergency allows a municipality or a governing body to do what's in the best interest, the language in the law reads, to protect the health, safety, and welfare of all citizens. So, God forbid, we needed to work with our partners with Erie County for calling in high lifts, or they have some really, I don't know if you follow them on DPW, but they have some really nice snow blowers that were over $1 million a piece. But if we needed to call in these assets, our emergency manager, the supervisors and mayors can do that. So, taking all that information in, that's why the state of emergency was declared at 10:30, and then it was originally drafted that it would be lifted at 5 a.m. On Saturday. It would be lifted at 5, no, I take that back, it would have been lifted at 5 a.m. on Friday, get my dates messed up. 5 a.m. on Friday because people needed to travel, and one of the big hinging factors on that was the schools. So Springville had not initially, behind the scenes, there's a lot of conversation and work that goes on behind the scenes. Springville had not committed to closing schools, and Boston being located geographically where we are, we have multiple schools. So that was also another reason, okay, we don't want to prohibit a school from shutting down, or kind of force them into a decision that, hey, they can't roll school buses through the community. So that's how that all plays out. Great questions. I hope I answered everything.
Well, you did most of it. The only, dealing with the sheriff's department also, you always see on television and everything else, people all, in that, when I called you, I was out and stuff, and there were cars and trucks all over the 219, because it was a complete whiteout. It was a mess. And you see people out there and they tell you, please don't go out, there's a travel ban or whatever else and stuff out there and stuff. I guess I'm trying to say is how do we notify people? I got a phone call over my phone, I think, or something at one time from you or something, a message stating that it was stopped. I guess it's just trying to keep the people off the road, so that they weren't out there and stuff, to let us somehow figure out if you could.
Yeah, right, so every motorist it's a free country that we live in, right?
No, I understand that.
So while there may be a travel ban in place, Mr. or Mrs. Citizen can certainly jump behind the wheel of their motor vehicle if they so choose, and drive if they so choose. But respectfully of our men and women in uniform, should they need the tools to do their job to say, hey, you should be on the road right now, it is the law enforcement officer's discretion on whether or not they choose to issue a citation on that. But as far as the communication, anytime that happens, at least since, I don't think our town has ever issued so many states of emergency, but now that's seems like the norm. It gets pushed out to the town social media. There's the notification to the public. The county shares it out to all their social media. Legally, we also have to provide notice to all the media outlets. So that's, WIBB, BEN, you name the media outlet. So we push that all out there. If the general public at large is paying attention to media or saying, hey, can I report to work? That's it. And that is also part of the reason why I included the Erie County guidance on essential travel, because if you don't have that ID and that badge saying that you're deemed as an essential worker, you shouldn't probably be on the road. And yes, some employers don't like that, but I didn't know what it was. But yes, so
Thank you.
it
That
really.
answers the question. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else? That's one less thing off my report tonight. All right, with no comment, we'll get on with our business, so we can all head home. All right, item number 2 is Resolution 2024-79, authorizing a delegate to the annual meeting of the Association of Towns. And Councilwoman Lukacek, would you like to take that item tonight?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Resolution number 2024-79 basically is sending the supervisor, Jason Keating, to the Association of Towns for February 18, 2025. I make a motion, we approve.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby?
Yes.
Councilman Cardicchini?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek?
Yes.
Motion carried.
I would like to thank the town clerk, because she was intending, she was possibly planning on going, so she tapped me to be that person. Thank you. Item 3, Resolution 2024-80, extension of the Cintas supply contract. And Councilwoman Selby, would you like to take that item tonight?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number 2024-80, which will extend the term by 60 months or 5 years for renewal period that ensures continuity of service without interruption. This is for the Omnia Partners contract number R-BB-19002 and number 222886. I'd like to make a motion to approve this extension.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Salvi,
Yes?
Councilman Harderini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item number 4 is a resolution 2024-81 to reject all bids received for the removal and installation of fencing around the tennis courts. And Councilman Carnegie, would you like to take that item?
Thank you Supervisor Keating. I'd like to make a motion to adopt Resolution 2024-81, which is a rejection of all bids received for the removal and installation of new fencing around the tennis courts. I'd also like to respectfully ask the town clerk to direct a forward of this copy of this, of the resolution to Woodsmith Fence Company as well as New York State Fence Company. Motion's on the table.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Salvi,
Yes.
Councilman Harderini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, item number 5 is resolution 2024-82 for document management software and services. And Councilwoman Lukacek, would you like to take that item?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution is for the software and services. It's the annual license fee for the DocuWare software with the storage and number of users required by the town. That's increased about $3,300 a year to now $3,672 per year. Let's see, and I make a motion that we approve the annual license fee of $3,672 for resolution number 2024-82.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Salvi,
Yes.
Councilman Harderini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, item number 6 tonight is resolution 2024-83, authorizing disposal of surplus equipment. And Councilman Carnegie, would you like to take that item?
Thank you Supervisor Keating. I'd like to make a motion to adopt Resolution 2024-83, which is authorizing disposal of surplus equipment. The items on the docket would be a printer from the code enforcement officer, computer from highway, a computer from the assessor's office, micro tower computer for highway, a LaserJet printer for the assessor's office, HP Color printer for highway, BB Tech port and switch. The following items are from the code enforcement officer. There's a Dell computer, a compact desktop, an HP widescreen monitor, and from highway, a 17-inch monitor, a highway department, I don't know what that is, 3 keyboards, I guess, and an air filtration system from the facilities. So I'd like to make a motion that we dispose of the surplus equipment.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Salvi,
Yes.
Councilman Harderini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, item number 7 tonight is resolution 2024-84, which is the approval of a dedication of public infrastructure and roadway extension of Deanna Drive. And Councilwoman Lukacek, would you like to take that item?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Okay, so the town of Boston owns and maintains roads located within the town. And those roads, and let's see, so the ownership of new roads in accordance with the highway in Erie County, this is how we do this. So the property owner, Deanna Drive LLC, has constructed a new road, the extension of Deanna Drive, and there was a map that was added to this for that subdivision that was filed last year. This depicts that extension of Deanna Drive as a public highway. So with the help of our highway, the town design standards, highway superintendent and LaBella Associates, with the consulting firm, I want to make sure I capture to make sure this makes sense to everybody. So there is, basically we are,
The tree will be resolved, probably catch most of it.
Pardon?
Did it 4 be resolved, the cash most of it?
Yeah.
Right. That was your-
All right, so the acceptance of the road known as the extension of Deanna Drive, the town of Boston formally accepts ownership and control of the extended section of Deanna Drive as a public right-of-way within the highway system of the town of Boston. So I make a motion that we approve resolution number 2024-84, the approval and dedication of the public infrastructure and roadway extension of Deanna Drive.
I will second that.
Councilwoman Salvi,
Yes.
Councilman Karakini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item 8 is a approval for a new member to the Passion Fire Company, Abigail Petrino. Councilman Carnegie, would you like to take that one?
Thank you Supervisor Keating. The town received a letter from Chief Patchen Fire Company Chief Dave Appa. We have a new candidate, and I'd like to make a motion that we approve Abigail Petrino for active duty with the Patchen Fire Company. As she has submitted her application, all the required documents, and has passed the arson and sex offender background check, as well as the DMV checks, and she's been voted in by the general body. So I'd like to make a motion, we approve her for duty, and I'd like to thank her for stepping up to serve her town.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Salvi,
Yes.
Councilman Karakini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, next section is our reports and presentations. Highway Superintendent, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I'd like to report that last week's storm, it was a pretty decent storm, and the highway department in Boston did a great job. County had a few issues, but town of Boston did a good job. Even in the middle of the travel ban on Patchen Road, we have an 18-wheel tractor trailer trying to go down Patchen Road. He gets down there, then he wants to back out of there on Boston State, and with the trailer that long, I don't know what he was thinking. But anyway, so I get out and I was gonna try to direct stop traffic for him, but he had summer tires on the tractor trailer and they were pretty much bald. He couldn't back out onto the street, so I kinda sent him down the Back Creek Road and around the block. Hopefully he made it out of there, but every year when the 219, the 400, and all these big routes are closed, tractor trailers and trucks and everybody takes the back roads, even though there's a travel ban on. Some drivers are going from A to B and they're gonna go whatever their GPS tells them to go, so that's always an issue. The other thing I got to report on is, last week on December 11th on Channel 4 News, not to throw stones, but the supervisor down there saying that the highway department, the Boston Highway Department was out there pushing drifts back all day and salting the roads, which wasn't true at all that day. The drifts were pretty much all melted away, and I don't go out and salt the roads until it actually starts snowing, so that report that was on Channel 4, I didn't really agree with, and I got many, many phone calls learning what I was doing, and that's all I have.
Fair enough. Thank you very much. Councilwoman Selby, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I'd like to thank Deputy Miller for coming out again. It's always very informative to hear what's going on. It's been an added bonus to have you here, so thanks for your work for the community. I'd also just like to wish everybody Merry Christmas, safe travels if you're going abroad or going wherever you're going. Be safe and Happy New Year. We'll see you on January 1st, hopefully. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Councilman Carnegie, you have the floor.
Thank you Supervisor Keating. I would like to thank the Sheriff's Department for rescuing a man in the fire. I got a report from somebody today that said that the Sheriff's Department was on scene almost the moment the firefighters arrived, and he was able to get the gentleman who was disoriented out of the house, which likely saved his life. I don't know if that was you.
Not
Deputy-
me personally, there was a bunch of us that responded, there was a total of 5 of us that went there. I was working that evening, the deputy was on Boston State Road, pretty much right around the corner, within 2 minutes of the call. And able to help and get the victim, in the ambulance and treat at the hospital, doing okay.
Yeah, and that's great. I would love to know who that deputy was to personally thank him, but that news got to me fairly quickly, and I wondered if it was you. But I appreciate your honesty nonetheless in the service of the department. And I'd like to echo Kathy's sentiment. Have a wonderful, holiday season, and I hope everybody has safe travels if you're out there, and certainly enjoy the company of family and friends. That's all I have.
All right, thank you very much. Councilwoman Lukacek, you have the floor.
Thank you. I do want to do a shout out to Abigail, Katrina, thank you very much for stepping up and taking the time to get involved. Congratulations and thank you very much. And that's, other than happy holidays, safe travels, that's all I have.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, you have the floor.
Thank you, Supervisor Keating. On the last board meeting, I failed to mention the blood drive from Tuesday, December 3rd. There was actually something that had come from Barbara Moore. She wanted to thank Sean Vanderdoes, our laborer. He had helped to correct some electrical connections. And in doing so, this allowed Connect Life to collect platelets for the first time at our drive. So that came through from her. The next Connect Life blood drive is January 7th, Tuesday, January 7th, 2025, 2 p.m. To 7 p.m. in the community room. And as you can see, our Boston sharing tree, all of the tags are gone. It was a huge success again this year because of the generosity of this community. 30 children will be provided with a wonderful Christmas morning. That's all I have. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Thank you very much. All right, the first thing I'll report on, I know there's been some folks on the world of social media asking about the water line breaks, because sadly we had a lot of them. That's what happens in the wonderful little town of Boston when we have a few feet of snow, and then it thaws, and then it freezes again. So the first water line break, and this is all from Leader County, I asked our friends over at the Water Authority to reach out and get us some information. Thursday, 12/12, this is at the peak of the storm. We had a water main break, and this was a circular fracture on a 12-inch cast iron pipe, which was down by May Drive and Boston State Road. Again, thanks to Rich Hawkins. He reached out to me at 7:15 in the morning and said, hey, Supervisor, there's a ponding water on Boston State Road. And I'm looking out there and the snow's coming up. Here we go. And so anyway, they had to shut everything down. And just so everybody is aware, I brought this a couple times, but it's the nature of our water system that we have here. If there's a water main break essentially by Chestnut Ridge Road or anywhere down south of the town, it's unfortunate, but when that water line or that main needs to be shut down, everyone else loses water. It's just the way it was designed back in the day. I know it's unfortunate, and yes, it's an inconvenience to you. We are as a board working on that with future upgrades and replacements, but that's what's happened, and that's why people were without water. And yes, it did take a long time. And again, here we go, what we've talked about tonight, the state of emergency, the travel bans. Really a thanks to Erie County DPW, because that is their section of road to respond to. As the highway superintendent said, he's right, that road is not always kept up to par compared to our roads. So, but the county was able to send 2 additional plows down to the area after I spoke to Commissioner Bill Geary, and they were essentially escorting the other utilities to that site to then mark out the utilities, because before the Water Authority can do any kind of digging, a shovel can go into the ground, utilities have to be marked out. So that is why, even though we knew at 7 o'clock in the morning that there's a water line break, that's why no repairs even began until almost 4:30 in the afternoon, because it took that long for utilities to get over there because of the storm. So there's the explanation. Hopefully that respectfully debunks any misinformation that went circulated on social media, but that's the real reason of why that took so long. Then Friday, we had another break over on Boston Colden Road. That was an 8-inch cast iron break. That was a shutdown. That took a couple hours to handle that one. And then, misery loves company. So here we go, Saturday, 7:15 at night, I got a phone call. This will be part of the next board packet for the reorg. The Crestwood water tank hit an all-time low, sadly. There's a pretty sizable break because of all the snowfall. They couldn't the Water Authority could not source where the leak was. It was located down in the vicinity of 6687 Mill. That was a 8-inch cast iron pipe that broke down. Luckily, there was a small number of customers, but during that time, people all on the south end of town either experienced low water pressure, air in the water lines. And again, this is just the nature of what we're dealing with. So we are working on getting this fixed, but that's what's going on. And there is a dedicated website page on the Town of Boston website with all the water projects that we're working on. So the community will see a lot of projects kicking off in the spring of next year, and hopefully we can stop talking about these breaks, because it absolutely affects our first responders. Yes, it's an inconvenience when you can't flush your toilet or pour yourself a glass of water, but the men and women who roll out of bed when we have fires and they don't have water, that's a problem. So we'll keep plugging away and I'll keep everybody updated. So that'll be in the correspondence at our next meeting. I would like to thank all the plow teams, definitely Bob and his team, as we all know, our town roads, they're fantastic. They're usually wet, they're very rarely ever snow covered. You know, county, that's a whole other conversation, won't get into that one, but, you know, they did step up when I needed them down there, which was nice to see. I would like to thank the public for the driving bans. Yeah, I know it's not convenient, I know they're not liked, but as the deputy and others have said, when it's above our level here, when the state makes a decision to shut down, these interstates, the 90, the 219, others, the highway superintendent is 100% spot on. That the fact is that these truckers, they will do anything they can to get from point A to point B where they need to go. They were stuck on Omphalos, they were stuck on Shiro, there was a parking lot in other areas. The whole idea of these travel bans is to keep people off the road so the roads can keep clear. You go off the road, you're gonna create problems for the entire community. So I would like to, to thank everybody's patience for those. I know they're not fun, they're not, convenient because people wanna go places. Up north, people had sunglasses on. Here, we're getting snow. And that's, welcome to West, right? Welcome to West New York Lake effect. That's, it's unfortunate, but it's a tool in the toolbox to manage these storms. I covered that. I do want to let the public know that we are most likely canceling the Code Red notification system. We've been having problems with them for a little while now. When those Code Red notifications go out, and some of you have experienced this and even called me before in the past and even recently, when those notifications go out, not everybody's getting them. That information is relied on based off of the Bell company, whoever that service is. In our case, it's Verizon. It could be Spectrum, but there's a lot of data that rolls up into that program. And what ends up happening is if that data is not cleaned or accurate, the public at large is not getting that notification. So if I do, it's called an alt call. If I do an alt call for the community, it's not hitting every residential home as it should. And it's not that we're doing something wrong. It's just it's the world of data. There's a term out there: garbage in, garbage out. But if you have bad data going in, it's not going to reach everybody. So we're looking at a texting platform that will allow us to not only reach out to you via text message, but we then can also use that above and beyond emergency situations. We can notify the Memorial Day parade, the fire, the Independence Day celebrations and things like that to keep you as the public informed better. So as always, we're trying to find ways to do things better. Unfortunately, Code Red didn't work out. There's a lot of conversations with our partners in Erie County because they get information for these 911 reverse dialing systems, and it didn't work out. And so we're trying to do better there. Some more information will be coming out with that new system and how to sign up for those notifications. I know it was brought up at the last meeting, EV charging, that will hopefully be up and running by the end of the week for the public. If anybody wants to use it, that will be set up and running there. I will also toss out kind of a shout out to the Western New York Southbound Scenic Byway group and committee. There was a handful of people here in Boston that submitted photos for that photo contest. Off the top of my head, I don't believe a Boston resident won, but I do thank the Boston residents that did submit this year. The photos were fantastic. So if you're interested, go out to the Western New York Southbound Scenic Byway Committee on social media or the webpage. The photos are fantastic, and if you're interested, whether you have a smartphone with a nice lens, or you're an avid Shutterbug and you have a nice camera, please look next year. It's something that we try to do every single year. That is pretty much all I have for tonight. Is fellow board member said, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays to everybody, safe travels. We'll see everybody January 1st. I know Chris from the Hamburg Sun put it out in paper, so thank you as always. But our reorganizational meetings will be a little bit different because our first meeting of the year is on January 1st. So we made a decision to have it at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. It's not going to be a 7:30 town board meeting, and that's because of the holiday. Most people are off in respect of our families and our travel. So that is all I have for tonight. So I will make a motion to end the meeting at 8:04 p.m.
January 1st to 2 o'clock.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby?
Yes.
Councilman Cardicini?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilman Lukacek?
Yes.
Motion carried. Meeting adjourned.